Every great soul who ever lifted mankind from the depths of despair to the heights of hope began first as a dreamer, not a wishful thinker, but a builder of invisible empires, one who saw what others could not see and believed in it so fiercely that the world had no choice but to catch up. Look back through every chapter of progress, and you will find a man or woman whose feet stood in the present, but whose heart beat to the rhythm of a future only they could hear. These were not the strongest, nor the wealthiest, nor the most accepted among men, but they were the boldest. They possessed the sacred courage to dream when others doubted, to build when others mocked, and to rise when others retreated. The dreamers, though often ridiculed in their own time, are the silent architects of destiny, the saviors of nations, the bringers of light. They are the ones who lift the world forward by refusing to conform to what is and daring instead to create what could be. All progress begins with a dreamer. Before the wheel ever turned, before the ship ever sailed, before man ever reached for the stars, there was first a thought, a whisper within the soul of someone who dared to believe that what was could be changed. The world you see around you, every invention that eases your labor, every building that towers above your head, every melody that lifts your spirit, every bridge that connects one distant shore to another, was first a dream in the mind of a solitary soul who refused to be bound by the limits of his time. He was not always welcomed. No dreamer ever is in the beginning, for the world does not easily accept what it cannot see. Men cling to what is familiar, even when it holds them in chains. They scoff at what they do not understand. And yet, within every generation, there are those who rise, not by force, not by conquest, but by vision. They are the rare ones who, instead of cursing the darkness, imagine the light. And then they build it, step by step, out of nothing but the power of belief. Think not that you must have wealth to begin. Think not that you must be known or praised. The great dreamers of the past began their journeys in silence. They sat in obscurity while their minds roared with possibility. They walked alone while holding the map to a world that did not yet exist. But they dared to take the first step when the road was invisible. They dared to speak the impossible when no ear was willing to hear. And because they believed, deeply, fiercely, without apology, history bent in their direction. The masses wait for someone to show them the way, but the dreamer does not wait. He is the forerunner, the pathfinder, the trailblazer. Where others see barriers, he sees blueprints. Where others see empty land, he sees the city. Where others see a pile of stone, he sees a cathedral. This is the power of a dreamer, not to observe reality, but to shape it, not to react to the world, but to reimagine it. Look at the stories of the greatest figures who ever lived, not merely those in politics or business, but in every corner of life where progress has been made. You will see a pattern. You will find a moment in each of their lives where they were alone, with nothing but an idea so persistent, so vivid, so demanding of expression that they could not sleep until they gave it form. That moment was the birth of greatness. James was forced in excess of purpose. And it did not begin in a boardroom or before a crowd. It began in solitude, in silence, in the sanctuary of the dreaming mind. There is no mountain moved without first the image of its removal. There is no bridge built without first the picture in the mind of the engineer. The dream always comes first. It is the seed of all success. And it is the dreamer who dares to plant it in soil others call barren. So when you find yourself standing in a place where the world says, this cannot be done, know that you are on sacred ground. That is the very place where every dreamer begins. And if you have the courage to close your eyes and see something greater, to hear a call that no one else hears, to believe in something that does not yet exist, then you have already taken the first step towards saving the world. The world may mock the dreamer, but it follows his vision. This truth stands as a silent pillar behind every chapter of human advancement. At first, the dreamer is ridiculed. His ideas are called foolish, his hopes naive, his efforts a waste of time. The crowd, conditioned by convention and bound by habit, cannot comprehend the one who dares to think differently. They laugh, not out of cruelty, but out of fear. Fear that something so new, so bold, so beyond their grasp could possibly be real. And yet, over time, what once drew laughter becomes the very thing they cling to. The airplane, once considered madness, now carries their loved ones safely across the sky. The light bulb, once ridiculed, now burns in every home. The voices that once declared it can't be done now depend on the very thing they opposed. This is the paradox of the dreamer's path. He walks alone in the beginning, but he walks ahead, and it is only a matter of time before the world follows. Why? Because the dreamer touches a truth deeper than logic and louder than doubt. He sees not just what is, but what can be. And because he holds to his vision, because he does not let go in the face of rejection, that vision grows stronger than opposition. The masses may delay the dream's arrival, but they cannot stop it. The laws of the universe favor the one who believes with such intensity that reality must eventually bend to his will. History is filled with men and women who were mocked before they were praised. The philosopher who challenged the prevailing thought, the scientist who refused to accept the limits of his era, the leader who dreamed of freedom in a world addicted to chains. Each was called a fool at first. They were told their efforts were hopeless. They were warned to stop, to conform, to keep quiet. But they didn't. And because they didn't, we now live in a world shaped by their persistence. Understand this. The laughter of the crowd is often the background music of greatness. It is the resistance that tests the strength of a vision. It is the world's way of asking, do you really believe what you say you believe? And only those who answer with unwavering faith, only those who press forward even as they are doubted, ever leave behind a legacy worth remembering. You must not let the mockery of others drown the voice of your own soul. For every jeer today may be an echo of praise tomorrow. Every time someone tells you no, they are unknowingly sharpening your resolve. Let the criticism be your teacher, not your jailer. Let it show you where the world is still asleep so that you may become its alarm. There is power in being ahead of your time. Though lonely, it is the place from which all change is born. The dreamer is often misunderstood because he speaks the language of tomorrow to those still living in yesterday. He sees what they cannot, and that is his gift and his burden. But in time, if he holds to his dream, the very people who once laughed will walk the road he paved. So do not be discouraged when the world mocks your vision. Rejoice. It means you are creating something new. It means you are waking up something that has long slept in the hearts of men. It means your dream is bigger than their fear. And one day, when the laughter has faded and the dust has settled, it is your vision they will follow. Dreamers think in realities not yet seen. They walk by faith and not by sight, guided not by what is visible, but by what is possible. While the average mind waits for proof, the dreamer moves forward with conviction. He does not require the evidence of the senses to begin. He sees with a different set of eyes, those of imagination, of inner vision, of divine perception. Where others demand confirmation, the dreamer proceeds on inspiration. This is not fantasy, nor is it foolishness. It is the very foundation of all advancement. For every creation, every invention, every masterpiece was first unseen. It existed in the hidden realm of thought, resting in the mind of one who dared to believe in things no one else could yet perceive. It is here, in this sacred space, that the dreamer lives, between what is and what will be, between doubt and destiny. The world honors those who achieve, but it seldom understands the internal world from which those achievements arise. The dreamer spends days, months, even years envisioning something that has no blueprint, no precedent, and no permission. He is moved by a fire within, a divine whisper that says, this is yours to build. And even though the outside world offers nothing to support his cause, the dreamer continues because he knows that what he sees inside is more real than anything outside. There is a quiet boldness in such people. They do not shout their visions from the rooftops in the beginning. They guard them like seeds, watering them with silence, feeding them with prayer, protecting them from the harsh winds of skepticism. They know that every great thing starts small and unseen, and they are willing to carry their dream in the womb of belief until the world is ready to see it birth. Most people only believe what they can touch, taste, or measure. They have become prisoners of proof, slaves to what the eye can behold. But the dreamer lives differently. He recognizes that every structure you now see once lived as a shadow in the realm of thought. Every revolution, every movement, every transformation began as a whisper in someone's soul. To dream is to operate on the level of creators. It is to take dominion over your inner world and command it to produce. The great ones of history were not content with what the world handed them. They created new worlds from within. They did not wait for opportunity. They imagined it and then walked straight into it. They thought in terms of destiny, not delay. They spoke in terms of what shall be, not merely what is. The dreamer is not bound by the opinions of others because he is tuned to a higher frequency. He is not distracted by the noise of the crowd because he is focused on the voice within. While the rest of the world debates what can be done, he is already doing it in his mind, and soon the world will see it with their eyes. And so, the next time you are tempted to abandon your dream because others cannot see it, remember this: they are not supposed to see it yet. It was not given to them. It was given to you. It is your sacred responsibility to hold it, to nurture it, and to keep walking in its direction, even when you are the only one who believes. Because the truth is, dreamers live in the future, and it is only a matter of time before the world catches up. To dream is to serve humanity. It is not merely an act of self-expression or ambition. It is a sacred duty to lift the condition of man. Every dream that has ever transformed the world did so not for the benefit of the dreamer alone, but for the multitude who would one day walk through the doors that dream opened. The dream, though often misunderstood in his own lifetime, becomes the silent benefactor of generations. Look closely at every great shift in history, every moment when mankind took a step upward, and you will find behind it a soul who dared to dream not just for himself, but for others. The man who imagined a cure for a disease did so to ease the suffering of the sick. The one who fought for justice dreamed of freedom not only for his people, but for all who are oppressed. The artist who painted beauty into the world did it to stir something divine in the hearts of others. The inventor who built machines to ease labor did so to give his fellow man more time to live, to love, to grow. The dreamer is often seen as a visionary, but rarely is he acknowledged as a servant. Yet that is exactly what he is. He serves with his imagination. He gives with his vision. He sacrifices with his persistence. Though the world may not applaud him, though he may be called mad or unrealistic, he endures because he sees something worth building, something worth suffering for, something worth giving his life to. He dreams not for applause, but for change, not for fame, but for impact. And that is why the dreamer holds more power than the cynic, more influence than the critic, more relevance than the doubter. For when the dust settles and the years pass, the world will not remember the voices that said, "It cannot be done." It will remember the one who said, "Let's do it anyway." There is something divine in the act of dreaming for others. It is the highest use of one's imagination, to place it in service of lifting humanity from where it is to where it was meant to be. When a person dreams on behalf of the world, he becomes a conduit for something greater than himself. He becomes the bridge between the present and the possible, and though he may never see the full fruit of his labor, the seeds he plants will grow in the hearts of those who come after him. It takes courage to dream when others doubt, and it takes selflessness to dream for those who may never know your name. Yet this is the work of the true dreamer, to lay stones for a path he may never walk, to shine a light for those still trapped in darkness, to believe in a world that is better, kinder, freer, and more just. Do not underestimate the value of your dream. If it was placed within you, it was placed there for a reason. If it stirs your soul and ignites your spirit, it is likely meant to bless more than just you. It is meant to reach others. It is meant to build, to heal, to awaken. And when you give yourself fully to it, when you rise each day to labor for a vision greater than yourself, you join the sacred lineage of those who have shaped the world with nothing but a thought and the relentless will to make it real. To dream, then, is not to escape reality. It is to improve it, to bless it, to redeem it. The world may never fully understand the weight of the gift you carry, but carry it still. For in serving your dream, you are serving all of us. Dreamers pay the price of creation. Every dream that becomes reality is purchased with solitude, resistance, and sacrifice. The world sees the finished product, the invention, the movement, the masterpiece, but it does not see the long, silent nights the dreamer spent wrestling with doubt, battling fatigue, and questioning his own sanity. The dreamer walks a road few are willing to travel, not because he enjoys the hardship, but because the vision he carries is heavier than his fear. It is easy to admire the mountain once it is climbed, to praise the castle once it is built, to celebrate the name once it is written in history. But the journey that led there is marked by countless days of being misunderstood, dismissed, and ignored. The dreamer must often endure the sting of ridicule from those who cannot see what he sees. And yet he walks on, not because it is easy, but because something inside will not let him rest until the dream is born. This is the price of creation. It is not paid in applause, nor in comfort. It is paid in perseverance. It is paid in the currency of belief, spent over and over in the face of rejection. There are moments when the dreamer is tempted to give up, when the cost feels too high, when the voices of doubt grow loud and unrelenting. But the true dreamer does not bow to these storms. He leans into them. He understands that struggle is part of the process, that every trial, every delay, every fall is forging him into the person capable of carrying the dream to completion. The world does not reward effort immediately. The seeds of greatness must be buried in darkness before they ever rise to meet the sun. And during that time, when nothing seems to be working, when progress feels invisible, the dreamer must hold his ground. He must trust the unseen, knowing that the labor he performs today is not in vain, that the vision he carries is growing roots deep and strong, even if no one else can see them. There will be seasons of silence, times when no one believes, no one understands, and no one stands beside you. That is the crucible where dreamers are refined. It is not the applause that makes a dreamer great. It is the endurance through obscurity, the willingness to keep showing up when no one notices, the choice to keep believing when everything around you says to quit, the refusal to abandon what was placed in your heart simply because it has not yet come to pass. This price is high, but so is the reward. For on the other side of the struggle lies the birth of something eternal, something that will outlive the dreamer himself. And when others finally see the vision made manifest, they will call it genius, innovation, or destiny. But the dreamer will know it was simply persistence. Daily, steady, faithful persistence. He will know the price he paid, and he will know it was worth it. So if you find yourself weary on the journey, understand that you are not failing. You are paying the price. You are walking the road all great dreamers must walk. You are proving to the world, and more importantly to yourself, that your dream is not some idle wish, but a living fire. And when that fire refuses to go out, despite the wind, despite the rain, despite the night, then you can be sure the dream is alive, and one day the world will thank you for not giving up.